Good evening. My name is Grace Machina. Here with me today is Mr. Makodza, whom I'll be talking to about the state of the dairy industry. Mr. Makodza is the Director in the Division of Livestock Production and Development in the Ministry of Agriculture, Mechanization and Irrigation Development. Mr. Makodza, good evening.
Good evening, Grace.
Mr. Makodza, tell us a bit about the dairy industry. How big is the national herd?
The national herd is 5.3 million, and out of that, we are talking of 33,000 head of cattle being dairy animals.
What type of breeds are bred in Zimbabwe?
If we are specifically addressing the dairy issue, we are looking at breeds like the Jerseys, the Frisian Holsteins, the Guernseys, and their crosses, amongst others.
Are all these breeds found in Zimbabwe?
All these breeds are found in Zimbabwe. However, in order for us to continuously improve on our genetics, we import some of these breeds from abroad, especially South Africa.
What is the average yield of our cattle?
We are currently averaging 10 liters per cow per head per day, and this is brought about by the virtue of the fact that the sectors we have who do milk production are the commercial and the smallholder sector. So when we blend the two, our average comes to 10 liters per animal per day.
What is the average consumption in Zimbabwe currently?
Currently, Zimbabwe is consuming 8 liters of milk per person per annum.
8 liters per person per annum.
That's
So
right.
what does that translate to?
Well, our consumption as a country, as a nation, is 120 million liters. However, we are currently having a deficit because we are producing only 58 million liters, which means there's quite a gap which is filled in by imports of pasteurized milk and some other milk powders.
How do we plan to meet the growing demand for milk, given the deficit that we have?
What the industry players actually did, that is the dairy industry players, including government, is to come up with what is called the private-public partnership, and which they formed what is called the Dairy Revitalization Fund. This fund is derived from the fact that as we import milk, maybe I would say cheaply, but our production locally is quite high. But when we blend the two, we tend to get a 10 cents cushion, that is 10 cents per liter cushion, rather than making milk cheaper by 10 cents. This 10 cents was now taken into what is called the Dairy Revitalization Fund. This amount of money is what is now going to be used to import dairy heifers so that we can boost the local production rather than continuously import milk.
Mr. Makodza, who manages this fund?
This fund is managed by the Zimbabwe Dairy Industry Trust.
And who is the fund targeted at?
The fund is targeted at all the dairy players. However, we have seen that the smallholder players have been lagging behind, especially in the milk industry. Their activities have been curtailed by the fact that they were not having funding to get into the limelight milk production. So we are urging those farmers and also making sure that at least for the sake of having them come into the limelight, they will be facilitated through this fund. However, this fund is meant to benefit all the dairy players.
Do you have a target that you're working towards in terms of milk production?
Yes, we have a target. We are looking at by 2019 to reach a target of 70 million liters of milk per annum.
Okay. Besides the growth of the national herd, what other benefits are we going to derive from this fund?
The benefits we are bound to derive from this fund are through farmer training, through staff training, and through also the purchase of semen, because we would like, when we have imported these dairy animals which are of better genetic material, to continuously have that the genetics also through the progeny, which is the calves they will be producing.
Mr. Makodza, it has been a pleasure talking to you about the state of the dairy industry. I do hope that as a country, Zimbabwe achieves its target of 70 million litres by 2019. Thank you very much, Mr. Makodza.
You are most welcome. Thank you very much.